Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla News episode 126. I have some surprising numbers from last year Tesla sales in Europe, and Tesla is breaking records once again and is setting itself up to destroy those records later this year. And Tesla's growth and competitive lead appears to be increasing. And we have some Cybertruck production news, and the versions for superchargers is coming soon. And Elon is saying Tesla should make a highly configurable Robovan. And I just passed 80,000 subscribers. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. My mind is blown. All this and much more on today's episode. Let's dive right in.
Let's put our living stereo stylus in this groove.
And we got some great sales numbers out of China for Tesla, where they are still leading the race. And I have some surprising numbers from last year's sales in Europe. So we got Tesla's delivery numbers from June from the China Passenger Car Association, and Tesla China sold 78,906 vehicles. Now that is some impressive numbers. We heard that they were aiming for 71,000, and that would be a new record. The all-time high was from December of last year and was 70,847 units. So they beat the old record with 8,059 units, and the June numbers is up 138% year over year from last year's 33,155 units. What a busted growth story. And Tesla Model Y became the best-selling EV in China with 52,557 vehicles delivered in June. Just the Model Y. And Tesla exported only 968 units. And the rest went out in China. But with these high delivery numbers, we should see some big export numbers coming out of China in the next 1.5 months. And they are lining up on the harbor, getting ready for this big push, because Europe is still demanding a lot of units from China. But even though we had the lockdown in China, the trend Tesla is on in Europe cannot be held down. They are still above last year's projections, and with no lockdown and record high production levels, we should see the second half of 2022 get even a bigger momentum. And if you were wondering, Tesla is still leading the way in Europe as well. As a car brand, they have now delivered over 70,000 units, and the runner-up is the Volkswagen brand with almost 46,000 units. And the Model Y is the best-selling EV in Europe year to date. Model 3 is the second best, and the much smaller and cheaper Fiat 500e is the third best-selling EV. But I just realized something. After 2021, we looked at the numbers and we could see that Tesla didn't catch Volkswagen as the best-selling brand in Europe. But I just checked the numbers just now, and after we have got all the numbers for all the 12 countries that represent about 80% of the European market, Tesla did end up as the best-selling EV brand in Europe in 2021, beating Volkswagen with just about 500 units. So congratulations Tesla for achieving that last year. And this year, it doesn't even look to be a close race, as Tesla has left everyone behind. And with the ramp we will see in Berlin, China, Texas for the rest of the year, I will be very surprised if Tesla is not able to sell more EVs in Europe than all the other automotive groups, like the Volkswagen Group, Stellantis Group, or the Hyundai Kia Group. That Tesla is only missing about 400 units to overtake, and then only 2 left to go. And as we can see in Switzerland, the Tesla Model 3 and Y were the 2 best-selling cars in the country in June. Not BEV, but overall car. beating the likes of the Skoda Octavia, a very popular car here in Europe, and the much cheaper Toyota Yaris. This is very, very impressive. Tesla has the 2 best-selling models in the country. Yeah, the demand in Europe is as strong as ever, but in China, new energy vehicles in general made a new record in June, so not just Tesla, as they hit 571,000 units sold in June, up from the previous record from December last year of 505,000 units. So also up about 145 units year over year. But Tesla is growing so fast that they are growing market share in the BEV in the biggest and most competitive market on the planet, in China. But that is not just in the biggest market. In the second biggest market, in the US, we know that Tesla in Q1 was back at 75% market share, even though they were down to about 64% in Q2 2021. So Tesla is now growing faster than the entire BEV market in the US. Just so impressive. And this big growth in EVs in general is also why we can see big drops for the overall legacy automakers in Q2, as I made a whole video about this week about how the ICE sales have to give way for the upcoming EVs, and that is what we're seeing playing out right now. Even if we take someone like the legacy automakers, we can see this play out right now, like BMW with BEV sales was up 85% in Q2, so that was great. But the BMW group as a whole, including their ICE car sales, are down about 20%. And during the first half of 2020, they are also down in all their markets. But BEVs are up. Hope you are starting to see the trend here, BMW. If you want your numbers to rise again, you have to make as many BEVs as you lose in your ICE sales. But unfortunately, BMW's leaders just want to keep making a lot of ICE cars for the next 30 years. I feel very bad for the people working at BMW that have to deal with such bad leaders who are leading them in the wrong direction. What is happening right now is as clear as day. And let's just take 1 minute break to get a quick word from today's sponsor, Blinkist, because not only do they have a great offer right now, but what their service is offering is much more valuable. I have talked about them before, so I assume you know what Blinkist is. If not, they take a whole book and take all the key takeaways and put them into these 10 to 15 minutes blinks. And today I would really like to share a whole book list with you, because it's a list of 10 books that are on Elon Musk's reading list. And you probably know Elon reads a lot of books, but maybe as myself you find it hard to find the time to sit down and read a lot of books. And that is why I personally use Blinkist and have done way before they became a sponsor of this channel. But I will also leave you guys a link down below to this book list from Elon Musk reading list that I can highly recommend. And I just went through all the 9 books on my latest drive down to my parents, because they are all available as blinks. That is an average of 13 minutes long, so I could easily go through all 9 books on my little drive of 1.5 hours each way. I just love that while driving or doing any activity like running or just taking a coffee break, I can get all the key takeaways from a whole book in just 10 to 15 minutes. So on the last drive down to my parents, I got the takeaway from 9 books that Elon Musk recommends people to read. But Blinkist, of course, has much more than that. They have already over 5,000 titles. So I will bet that they have something you will find interesting as well, if Elon's book list is not good enough. But this is really some powerful stuff and can really help you get a lot of knowledge without any real big efforts. Who doesn't want that? That is why I'm so happy Blinkist has decided to become a sponsor of this channel, and you can now get access to all of this knowledge with a 7-day free trial. So don't miss out and try this out for yourself. And if you like it, you will get 25% off on a premium membership by using my link down below. So go nuts, my friend, and enjoy the power of big knowledge in a small package. And a big thanks to Blinkist for sponsoring this video. But what I don't think is as clear as day for many, because the mainstream media is talking about Tesla's Q2 numbers as if they were a bad quarter. But I would like to show you the true growth story that Tesla really is, also in Q2, because they're pulling away. Because when we look into the numbers, we can see many might have misunderstood the impact of Tesla's lockdown in China and what the impact of the shutdown Tesla is doing right now themselves, both in Berlin and in the Shanghai factory, will do. So, firstly, Tesla's Shanghai factory was locked down for 22 days in April. So 22 days without any production. That in itself would be close to 50 to 60,000 units Tesla is missing out on. But we have to remember, Tesla has to ramp up again after the lockdown, which takes a lot of time. And as we know from the China Passenger Car Association, Tesla only produced about 11,000 units in April and about 34,000 units in May. And the lockdown was in April. No lockdown in May, but only about half the production speed of before the lockdown, because Tesla did produce about 60 to 70,000 units before the lockdown. So in April and May combined, we should have seen something like 130,000 units being produced, but they only produced something like 45,000 units. So Tesla was at least down 85,000 units in Q2 from the lockdown. So if we add that to the production numbers that Tesla was able to do in Q2, we are talking about 343,580 units Tesla should have been able to produce. So that would have put Tesla's growth at about 67% instead of the 26% growth Tesla had in Q2. So that would have been in line with the growth we saw in Q1, where Tesla grew about 69%. So if Tesla will keep that growth for the rest of the year, about 67 to 69%, we are talking about 400,000 units in Q3 and about 500,000 units in Q4. But Tesla is gearing up right now to ramp up production speed even more. So I do think Tesla might be able to do more than this, but I will get back to that. Firstly, I would just like to show how impressive the growth we are seeing right now is, because compared to the rest of the auto industry, this is where Tesla's growth is really put into perspective. Here is a list of 8 automakers in the US that Loop has made. And as you can see, they were down on an average of 23%. We don't have the Tesla US numbers for June just yet, but we know that Tesla's June numbers globally should be up about 27%. So the numbers would probably be something similar like that in the US market as well. So Tesla is up 27%, and the others on average were down 23%. And as Loop wrote on their website, Tesla outpaced the other automakers by 91% in June compared to 75% in March. That was before the lockdown. So Tesla is not just growing, but it's growing so fast they are actually pulling away from all the competition. As we also saw in Q1, Tesla's EV market share grew to 75%, and in Q2 2021 it was down to 64%. So all the numbers point at one thing: Tesla's growth and competitive lead appears to be increasing, and Tesla is about to crank it up a notch. Again, the mainstream media is trying to twist this as bad news, that the Berlin factory is shutting down, and so is the China factory again, so they have massive production problems. But this time it is not because of a lockdown, but because Tesla is getting ready for a big ramp. Tesla should shut down the factory in Shanghai for about 5 to 10 work days to increase its production, to make sure that the Shanghai plant will be able to produce close to about 100,000 units a month. So by the end of July, we should see Shanghai production numbers get to new highs in August and September and onwards. And remember that Tesla cars coming out of China have something like a 30+% gross margin on them as well. And to put these numbers in perspective, we know BYD is the biggest in China after Tesla. No one of the legacy automakers are even close, and BYD produced about 323,519 BEVs. Yes, they sold 641 cars, but that includes hybrids that BYD still makes. So the closest competitor in China in the fastest growing and most competitive EV market on the planet is BYD, but they are about 75% behind Tesla. And Tesla is about to speed up and sell more units in a month than someone like NIO sold in all of 2021. Yes, there is a lot of competition in China, but even they are getting left behind by Tesla's insane growth. And the Berlin factory is also being halted to increase its production speed. There are different numbers floating around, but it sounds like Tesla should be able to maybe double their production speed after this halt at the Berlin factory. And remember, they did just add a third shift, and maybe they will put in an extra work day on Saturdays, so we should see some big ramps in Berlin when they start back up again. And of course, now Texas has two production lines, one running the 4680 cells and one running the 2170 cells. So we should start to see some really big numbers coming from Tesla when we hit August. Tesla is using the first month here of Q3 to get everything ready, and the last 2 months should be records all around. I think we will see Tesla back at their normal growth rate in Q3, close to the 67% growth rate if everything goes smoothly, and probably crank it up a notch again in Q4. So with Tesla's growth speeding up now here by the end of July, Tesla is about to pull away even further from the competition. And with the gross margin Tesla has on their EVs, while the legacy automakers are losing money on their EVs, Tesla should pull away on the earnings as well. Remember, the other legacy automakers are down on their overall sales, including ICE cars, and losing money on their EVs right now, as Ford's CFO told us last week. So Tesla's growth story is going to be very clear by the end of this year, and Tesla will have pulled away from the so-called competition in pretty much every single way possible. And one of the most anticipated vehicles from Tesla is no doubt their Cybertruck, and Tesla might be getting production equipment ready for this beast. According to a report from German publication Tesla Mag, Tesla has started ordering machines to produce drive units for the Cybertruck from German manufacturers. According to the industry source that provided the information, the machines are being built and are scheduled to produce the first part at Giga, Texas in July 2023. If running at full capacity, these new machines can probably deliver around 750,000 drive units per year. Now that's a lot of drive units. Would be awesome if Tesla can get those kind of production numbers per year, because they have such a big pile of pre-orders. It is insane. It is the most pre-ordered car in history. And the July 2023 timeline matches up with the recent comment from Elon Musk that the Cybertruck design has been finalized and that it will enter production in mid-2023. So it seems like Tesla is still on track for that, so that is nice to see. Although these orders do not confirm the production date, it does point to prepare for production now that the design has been finalized. And the Cybertruck was also spotted at the Fremont test track this week, probably testing out that finalized design of the Cybertruck. So cool. And let's get our weekly update about Tesla's Giga factories. That means handing it over to Brian from My Tesla Weekend. Take it away, Brian.
Hey Lars. Well, the biggest news is things are pretty quiet in Shanghai, presumably while the factory is offline for retooling, which will dramatically increase the capacity. The building extension in the northwest corner, which has been framed up for quite a while, is now getting its roof and walls put up. That little building we've been following in the north central area, it's now closed off, yes, but there's also a suspicious amount of HVAC equipment on the roof. Very interesting. There's also a roadway down the west central part of the site, which now has a sky bridge to move parts from one building to the other. In Berlin, the little parking lot at the north end that we've been watching now is done and has cars parking on it. The solar is inching forward nicely, a little bit of expansion there, and at the south end, the parking lot is growing yet again. The 4680 building is getting its HVAC equipment put in, and it's also getting its final walls and more windows along the east. In Texas, there's just an awful lot of parking rework still going on. Down in the southwest corner, along the west side, and at the northwest corner, there's even an area that was torn up and already repaved since last week's update. The main parking lot is also getting trenching done for rework and light poles and whatever going in there. The cathode building is very exciting. It now has over 40% of its steel framed up. The regrade in the area where the permanent switchyard will go is also inching forward. Not super exciting. And on the roof, the solar installation, well, they're now doing more than just outlining the Tesla logo. Back to you, Lars. Fuck, dude. Did I really just get it? In one fucking take? Holy shit.
Yeah, I left that one in, Brian. Thank you so much. And don't forget, if you're not following Brian over on his channel, My Tesla Weekend, you are really missing out on some great Tesla content. So make sure you jump over there, hit that subscribe button to support Brian and all the great work he does. Thank you so much for the update, Brian. See you next week. Let's squeeze in the last short news topics into this new show. Yes, it's time for the Tesla Shorts. Tesla stops providing key fobs for the new Model S and X deliveries. I don't understand why that has not happened faster, because the key fob is such an old school way of doing it, and the Tesla apps works just perfectly as a key without you even having to get it out of your pocket or do anything. Just love the way it works. If you really want or need the key fob, you can still purchase them from Tesla, available for $175 US. And people are always talking about how EV takes more energy to produce because of batteries in them. But people never talk about this fact. If we switch to renewable energy, the numbers of ships crossing the ocean, which is some of the most polluting things on the planet, would fall by 40% because they just carry coal, oil, and gas. Volkswagen has had problem with their software from day one of their EV adventure, but it is not looking any better today. The Volkswagen Group Supervisory Board met this week to discuss the delays and culture challenges McKinsey identified with the Carriage Software Group, for which CEO Herbert Diess is responsible. After the meeting, it is clear that the problem are bigger than they thought. This software, version 2, is now being targeted for the middle or second half of this decade. Yeah, I think there's a very slim chance that this software will be ready for Volkswagen Trinity cars that should start production in 2026. So the question is, will this software be ready for the EV revolution at all, or will it come too late to the party? As I expect this whole war for the EV market will be over by 2028 or thereabout. But time will tell. And SpaceX has launched Starlink Maritime, high-speed, low-latency internet with up to 350 megabits per second download while at sea. The price is $500 per month, with a one-time hardware cost of $10,000 for 2 high-performance terminals. Pay as you go, end-to-end encryption, and rough enough to withstand a rocket landing. Nice. And you might think this sounds like a very high price, but Elon tweeted, still obvious premium price, but way cheaper and faster than alternatives. SpaceX was paying $150,000 a month for a much worse connection to our ships. Satellite internet was one of the top operation costs for SpaceX recovery fleet. Wow. And SpaceX now added download throughput by 5,900% and reduced the cost by 70%. That is just nuts. And now SpaceX has their own internet service at sea. Don't think VSAT ISP is going to like this very much. And Elon tweeted, maybe Tesla should make a highly configurable Robovan for people and cargo. He has talked about the van before, but nice to hear him mention it again, especially when he also tweeted, super fired up for future product development with our awesome Tesla team. Such an honor to work with them. Oh yes, I think we have some good things waiting in the pipeline, and Elon did reply later on, maybe with an optional solar power canopy that extends both sides of the van, tripling roof area. And Eva Fox tweeted back something like this, with a picture of the Tesla trailer that Tesla has unveiled at an exposition in Germany, a new solar range extender trailer with a SpaceX Starlink internet system, but don't expect this to be available anytime soon. But it is still cool to see some of all the things Tesla is able to bring to life in the future because of the collaboration between Tesla and SpaceX, and would not be a bad idea for a roof of a Tesla van or camper, as Elon pointed out. And Europe's most powerful electric vehicle charger hub has arrived in Oxford, offering charging for 42 cars initially and scope for hundreds more. The hub will help Oxford City to reach net zero and create a cleaner, greener city. Nice. And the Boring Company's Las Vegas loop with Tesla vehicles has connected to its first resort. As they wrote, today, Resort World Las Vegas and the Boring Company officially unveiled the Las Vegas Convention Center Loop passenger station, providing direct underground access to Las Vegas Convention Center in an enjoyable, efficient, and environmentally friendly way in minutes in an electric Tesla. Nice. It is the first of 55 stops outside the loop system, built specifically for the Las Vegas Convention Center. Tesla confirmed in a new software update that its vehicles are now scanning for rough roads like potholes to help avoid them damaging the vehicle by adjusting the suspension. So this will probably just be for the Model S and X for now, as they are the only one that has adjustable suspensions. And Tesla Club Austria climbed the highest mountain in Austria with 60 Teslas from 8 countries to support peace, love, and Tesla in the Silence Rally. Gotta love this community. And here in Denmark we also had a little price hike of the Model Y with a little over $2,000, but now the tow hitch is included. You cannot remove it from your order of the Model Y, so not really a big price hike since the tow hitch itself cost about $1,200 all on its own. And Volkswagen just announced it will invest $20 billion to build electric vehicles batteries, a move that the company says will create 20,000 jobs and generate about $20 billion in annual sales. The automaker will create a new company called PowerCo to oversee the effort that will manage Volkswagen's entire battery supply chain, from research and development of new technologies to the mining of the raw material to the end-of-life recycling. The news was announced at the groundbreaking ceremony for the company's first battery plant in Salzgitter. So great move from Volkswagen, and will be exciting to see if they are able to pull this one off in time. And Tesla is making records outside the car business. We saw a record of 300 Tesla Megapacks worth an estimated $500 million spotted at the Giga Nevada factory. And speaking of energy storage, Jennifer Franco tweeted, "We are now selling energy to PG&E. Air condition on all day, all night, 3 EVs, Tesla Solar is totally amazing. Obsessed with the app, it is so good. All the stat and nerdy info make this process even fun. So cool. The energy system of tomorrow." And Tesla plans to open supercharger in North America for all electric vehicles. According to a document from the White House, the company is expanding operation in Giga, New York to produce the equipment it needs for this. So cool. And maybe this has something to do with the news that Tesla is apparently getting ready for the version 4 supercharger and increase the charging speeds for the version 3 supercharger to get it up to the 325 kilowatt of charging speed we heard about before, and added a magic dock, whatever that means, so it can charge all EVs. Marco PR on Twitter was able to find some dimensions of the chargers, and they seem to be a little bit slimmer but taller, so this all fits with the timeline we heard about before, that Tesla would raise the charging speed in Q3 of 2022, so it will be very exciting to follow this progress. And the stupidity continues. A bill currently in the works in North Carolina where legislators would allocate $50,000 to get rid of free public EV chargers unless free gas pumps are built alongside them. Oh my freaking god. I mean, some people. And Elon tweeted about the collapsing birth rate again. Doing my best to help the underpopulation crisis. A collapsing birth rate is the biggest danger civilization faced by far. And he also answered a question about what he would say to the person that say they can't do it because of the cost. Elon replied, "Kids are worth it if at all possible. I'm planning to increase childcare benefits at my company's facilities. Hopefully other companies do the same. Also, Musk Foundation plans to donate directly to families. Hopefully, details to be announced next month." Nice. And Elon said he is seeking to terminate the deal to buy Twitter, as Twitter was not able to document the numbers of fake accounts. And Alex tweeted, "Stellantis is in serious trouble. CEO Trevaris about the BEVs. We must fear the moment when the middle class can no longer afford a car. Head of production in France, if electric vehicles doesn't get cheaper, the market will collapse. Don't worry, they will become much cheaper, and transport as a service with a full self-driving electric car will make even the poorest people on earth able to afford transportation." But I don't think Stellantis will be part of that, so he might be right on that one, that Stellantis will collapse, but not the market. And before we end up with a bit of fun, I just want to make a quick shout out to my newest patrons and members of this YouTube channel. Niklas Nilsson, Marco Nyrup, Cliff Craig, Charles H. Craddock Jr., Todd Bianco. And my thank you for watching members: Andrew Velas, Sven Raw Lai, Willie Kipalashinki, or something like that, and James Brown. Thank you so much for your support. I am doing this all by myself, but you guys are all the producers of this new show. Thank you. And a big and special thanks to Supporter of the Week, and this week's winner is my brand new ludicrous Patreon, Niklas Nilsson. Because Niklas is not just a brand new patron of mine, he has been a big supporter of my channel in general for a very, very long time, and on Twitter, and is part of the whole Tesla community. So thank you so much for all you do, Niklas, and for the support of this channel. Thank you. And I will contact you on Patreon. In the meantime, go in and find the free t-shirt or mug of your choice, Niklas. Thank you. And let's end off with a bit of fun. You know, I can take a little Danish spider with a paper towel, no problem. But going after a crocodile with a frying pan, that takes some next level balls.
Okay.
Get it, Tiger.
Yeah. You Australians are made of something special. That is all we have time for in this news show. Hope you liked it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help this video out a lot. And if you did like it, maybe you want to consider hitting that subscribe button, notification bell, so you don't miss out on future videos just like this one. And don't forget to hit that link down below to get your great offer from Blinkist. If you are already a subscriber, thank you so much for your support, and if you want to support the channel even more, remember you can, for as little as $1, become a patron of this channel and get your shout out on this show. You can also become a member of the YouTube channel to get a shout out and some extra perks. Hit the members button to find out more. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter. I tweet all the news as it comes out and more. And check out the merch store to get some merchandise and support the show. Now it's also possible to support the show without buying anything, becoming a member or a patron. There is a link to donation options in the show notes. And also as simple as hitting the super like button. But going forward, I will be making more videos for patrons and members only. And I will give my YouTube members and patrons early access to my videos whenever possible, and make my videos ads free for members and patrons only. So don't miss out. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.